Yo, yo, we are
Hey!
jamming. I love that countdown music. It's just, I don't know, it's exciting. It's like something is getting ready to like come live with
Happening.
you.
Yeah.
It certainly feels like something's going to happen. So I had to look behind me and make sure there's not a cat ready to attack me or my wife coming to tell me she needs something.
Good times. Well, welcome everybody to 12 Volt Talk. We know that we're not consistently doing this every week, but we're trying to do it when we have something that we like to talk about. Now, with that said, good friend HiFiVega is over here. What's going on, Rob?
Yo, what's up, man?
Yo, yo. And down below, we have Mr. Kip
Yeah, Mr.
from
Kip.
Kicker. And you guys may remember, and by the way, I'm Derek from Wilson Audio, just in case y'all know.
You don't need announced.
Yeah, I do. But so those of you, and we have some guys that are on here every week, and we do appreciate you guys, whenever we go live joining us. But last time we had Kip on, Kip kind of blah, blah, blah. He kind of made some comments, and then we're like, oh, what did he just say? Are we going to do what? And so we teased you guys and told you, hey, we will tell you when we get Kip back about, what the blah, blah, blah was. Because we couldn't talk about the blah, blah, blah at that time because we didn't even know about it. Rob and I didn't know. Right, Rob?
Yeah, man. Kip dropped that on us. Just
Kip
like a little bomb.
dropped a bomb. Now, and I'm going to go back just a little bit. So, we visited Kicker last October, had a great time, got the full tour. We got, just the behind the scenes access, all the really cool stuff. But, Kip and his team was explaining to us, we spend a lot of time, waiting for trade shows to release products, to talk about, new things we're doing and all this. And then so it hit me, and it might have been on the last show when we were talking, and I'm sure it hit me before that. But as we were talking, I'm like, well, Kip, I'm not going to Texas this month because there isn't going to be no SEMA because we were planning on kind of doing both at the same time. I'm like, what are you guys going to do if we're not going to an event? What are you going to do? And Kip's like, we have an idea, but shh. So then, we're like, oh, what are you talking about? So those who haven't seen it yet, it's already gone out. It's public, so we're not, advancing any notice about what's going on. But October 23rd, which is a Friday, there's going to be an event Kicker's going to hold, and they're going to go over some cool things. It's an exciting time. So Kip, tell us a little bit about the thought process, of first off, you guys must have been scrambling thinking we're not going to have any trade shows to go to. We're not going to have SEMA. We're not going to have CES. What are we going to do? So what was the thought process about, moving this to the online version?
Sure. I'm probably going to go a lot deeper than you want me to, but that's to be expected. So just bear with me. But, as a company, we, for years, for 20, 25, probably going on 30 years in the case of CES, as a company, we go to CES, and that show is always held usually the first week in January. And then we also go to SEMA. And SEMA is a trade show that's held right that October timeframe, 1st of November. I'm usually out there for Halloween some years, so you get to see all the great outfits that people wear in Vegas for Halloween. And that's a show you need to go see if you haven't seen that. But, that aside, those two trade shows are really where a company like us, we go and we're there to, first off, have meetings and trainings with our reps. And those are the people that we hire that are out in, the 50 states here in the U.S. and worldwide. We have international reps as well, distributors. And we have meetings with them to bring them up to speed on what the upcoming new products are going to be from the Kicker team for the coming year. So SEMA is really a lot in advance. We talk about things that are probably going to actually be available about CES time. And then at CES time, we talk about products that will probably come more like second quarter, third quarter of that year. But it's where we train our reps. They get a full taste of it. And then when you go to the show floor, which is held over in the LVCC, the Las Vegas Convention Center, all the dealers who come out to visit, they can walk around and visit any dealer's booth about whatever products they're interested in. Of course, we're one of those companies, and they can get a hands-on experience looking at the current and the new products that we've got coming. So CES and SEMA are very important to us as a company because it's how we touch and communicate with our reps and our dealers. It's important. Reps need to know what products are, what the features are for the coming year. The dealers want to know what the new woofer or the new woofers or the replacement driver or new amps or what's Kicker coming up with, so we can plan how we're going to do business with Kicker for the following year. So it's very important for them. And the trade shows are trade only. So it's not like anyone from outside of the industry can get a taste of that until, you tell the reps, and then the first thing they do is get on a friend and tell everyone they can about the new stuff. And then, of course, dealers go back and talk about it. But no one really gets a hands-on look and feel with the company and the products unless you're a rep, a dealer, or a distributor. So when they announced, and we knew it was coming, hey, Dean!
Hi.
When we announced that, or when SEMA announced that they were pulling the plug on the trade show, and when CES also announced they're pulling the plug on the trade show, which we're not surprised. We were waiting for it to happen. We kind of expected it to happen. And I'll take this, when we talked about this on your show before, that's got to be, 4 to 6 weeks ago? Does that seem about right to you?
Yes, it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, right, Rob?
Okay, so 3 to 4. So I'll tell us, we've been about 8 weeks ago then is when we started this whole discussion at work, where we pulled a team of people together. And I don't want to call it panic mode, but it was really like, okay, there's no SEMA and there's no CES. So what are we going to do to talk to our reps? What are we going to do to talk to our dealers? And what are we going to do to talk to our distributors, other than sending out hard materials in paper form, holding a Zoom meeting, things like that. And we bashed around and talked about it, and we put together a team at Kicker, about 5 of us, and we sat around and powwowed and discussed it. And as a team, we came up with this idea, which we're here to talk about tonight. And the event that we've put together, and trust me, there's a whole bunch of us that are hip deep in setting it up, is going to be called Kicker Unmasked Live. And of course, the play on the word unmasked is taken both ways, both from here, because I'm pretty tired of wearing a mask, so I'm glad I'm going to do this event without one. And it's an unmasking or an unveiling of all the new products that are coming to people who are attending the show. And we're doing this whole thing live. It's a live production, and it's kind of hard to understand. I could have, but I didn't, because I don't want everyone to I want everyone to know what we're doing when we do it. But we've taken our main conference room, which all of you here, Dean, Robert, and of course you, Derek, you've all been there. And our main conference room is a pretty large room. And we've gotten permission from the owner, Steve, and we have turned it into a booth. So it is going to be our replacement booth for not attending the SEMA show. It's also going to be our replacement booth for not attending the CES show. So, oops, I guess that means we're having 2 shows coming up. So there's even some more stuff coming. But the cool part about it is it's going to be a live interaction experience where, and of course, the announcement, if anyone here in the feed has seen it today, we made the big push today to announce it to the consumers. And I'll tell you why here in a minute. But one day is going to be strictly for our reps, because it's a lot of business and housekeeping details and things that are just focused on them. Plus, they get to talk about the new products. And then, of course, we take feedback from them. When we have these meetings, it's not just about us showing what we're doing. We take information and feedback too, so that we know what we're doing on Rev 2 or Rev 3 or what's the next idea. So that's with our reps. We're doing a full day with them. Then the next day, which of course all 3 of you here know, the next day we're doing it with our dealers. And so all Kicker dealers will be invited. And the way we're doing it's kind of cool is day 1 with the reps is actually going to be a Zoom meeting. So the reps will be able to talk back and forth via chat. They'll be able to ask questions. And as we go through this virtual booth at Kicker, and we've got, and I'll tell you right now, it's 10 stations. We have 10 unique stations, and at each station, we're going to talk about unique products that are brand new for 2021. And so we'll be able to go to station 1. Our Aaron Malin, who's in charge of our training department. We got John Myers. We got Ken Bundy, Carlos, and I'm going to skip the last one. Doggone it, my brain just locked up. There's 4 guys. I'll think of the last one here in a minute. But they're actually going to be at the training stations. They're going to talk to you about the cool products. They're going to train. And then our reps will be able to ask questions about anything they need to know. And then the same thing's going to happen on dealer day, except on dealer day, instead of being a Zoom meeting, it's going to be a Zoom webinar. because we expect we're going to have a lot of attendees. And so in a webinar situation, we won't be seeing their faces like in a meeting, but you'll be able to watch the live feed and you'll be able to type any questions you want in the chat box. And we're setting up, we're going to have a minimum of 4 people manning the feeds. And what we're going to do is they're going to call out through all that chatter that's going to come back to the text box, where are the good questions that we need to ask and answer? And they're going to pull those out. They'll be presented live. It'll be asked live. It'll be answered live. So other than not physically being together, it's going to be a live experience, experiencing the products and being able to ask your questions and get your answers. And that's one of the things when we were setting this up is, there was a lot of push to put something in the can. Let's just film something. Let's put it in the can and let's just roll. Let's just put it on YouTube or Facebook in a private group and let it roll. And I'll admit, I was one of the guys that sat there and I listened to everything. And after it was all said and done, I was like, guys, I said, that's not the SEMA or the CES experience. And I said, honestly, when someone plans their trip, they got to plan whether it's driving or plane flight, they got to plan their hotels and their meals. First off, it's an experience in itself, because let's be honest, I always like going to some new town and enjoying it, seeing what a great hotel room we got through our eyelids closed, because that's the only time you see it. But it's a good experience to go. But the key is when you go to those events, you're going to go seek out the vendors that you want to talk to. And it's not just about the product and it's not just about the people. It's the whole experience, being able to talk and communicate and get that through. And when you just do a canned video, you completely lose that aspect of the communication channel. So this was something that I brought up and we discussed it. And we decided we can do this live. We can put this together and it will be the next best thing to actually doing a live event at SEMA or CES. Now, of course, that's great for dealers and that's great for reps, but everyone who's over in the comment feed or watching, it's like, well, what's for me? Well, this is going to be pretty cool this year, because what we decided to do is it's a 3-day event. Obviously, day 1 and day 2 are closed off by invitation only. First one's a Zoom meeting. The second one's a Zoom webinar. But then on day 3, we are going to do a concurrent live feed to our Facebook channel and a concurrent live feed to YouTube at the same time. And that's something we've learned from you, Derek, is, cover our bases the best we can. My camera's set up backwards. Everything looks right, but I'm pointing wrong.
Yeah, mine is too. Yep.
It's I'm still not used to it. So day 3, which is what everyone here can come to, is other than the housekeeping details that we're going to go with our reps and with our dealers. But on day 3, we're going to walk you through the exact same presentation on every single product that we're showing to our reps and dealers for 2021. And we're proud to say this, we're stepping out of the box, no pun intended. This is the first time that I know of that any manufacturer has gone direct to the consumer to show them the new products that are coming. And honestly, a company like us, it's a game that you got to weigh the pros and cons of, because the last thing we want is, okay, we've got some old model whatever in the barn, and we tell all the consumers about the new model that replaces it, and now everyone says, stop, I'm not going to buy the old one, I'm going to wait for the new one. And the last thing we want to do is slow down the sales channel. But it does present the opportunity, because the old stuff will go on discount or things like that. So there's opportunities for someone to looking to save some money on still a great product, but it will let someone know well in advance what the new stuff is. And if they're shopping or looking, it's like, well, hey, I was looking at this, but wow, what's that? I want to know more about it. And the cool part about Consumer Day, as the 3 of you know, you're going to be involved. You guys are actually going to participate on Consumer Day. And what's going to be real cool about it is at the end of the Consumer Day show, which by the way, the Consumer Day show is going to kick off at 5 Central Time. So if we back the math out of that, that'd be 4 o'clock on the 6 o'clock on the East Coast, 5 o'clock here, be 4 o'clock Mountain, and 3 on the West Coast. We've actually taken cues from you guys and trying to learn things with what you're doing. And we know you tend to do a lot of stuff about 7 p.m. Central Time, because that gets friendly with all the coasts. That's just really kind of late for us to start a full presentation event. But the cool part about it is we're kicking it off at 5. It'll probably run about 2 to 2.5 hours. We'll know more. We're actually starting dry runs this week. And once that presentation is done, it'll be Steve Irby, myself, and 2 guys from our training team. It's probably going to be John Myers and Ken Bundy will probably be the ones who will join us. So it'll be 4 of us at Kicker. And then, of course, you guys are all going to be in that as well. So it's going to be a virtual, it's going to be HiFiVega. It's going to be Derek Williston. It's going to be 5 Star, Dean and Fernando. You'll be joining us. And everyone who's watching here can not only ask questions of Kicker, they can ask questions of you guys. You guys can ask questions of us. It's just going to be, in my terms, it's a big love fest with the guys who are hardcore 12 volters getting the exposure to a brand's products. And here's the key. They're not going to be available till you're probably looking second quarter to third quarter of next year. Normally, we try to have stuff ready for first quarter that we show at SEMA. And the issue this year, as everyone knows, the reason SEMA and CES are shut down is because of COVID. And COVID has wrecked the production and manufacturing lines that any manufacturer, and I'm not just talking car audio. I walked into a Lowe's a few weeks back here. I just need some sandpaper. There's no sandpaper. I mean, the entire thing is there's no sand. How can you go to Lowe's and not have sandpaper? And so it's really put a stress on everyone, including us. So it'll be a little delayed as far as when the product actually hits the market, but you're going to get the first taste of it if you tune in at 5, and that'll be the 23rd of this month is when the consumer show is going to kick off at 5 p.m. Central Time, and that'll be followed. Our guess is 7:30 will be the time frame is when we're going to do the live Q&A session, which will include all you guys. The only one who's not here right now would be Fernando, which I don't know if I've ever seen Fernando outside of the 5-star direct.
No, he's never made it to the. He's never made it there. It always. You guys have a habit of doing things kind of like last minute.
Kind of like me just sending you a text 5 minutes before this started. Like, Dean, you can join us if you want to. I was getting ready to say something about that. So first off, thanks, Dean, because I know you stream like every day, probably except for Wednesday on your channel.
Yeah.
You're constantly editing. You're a busy guy. I didn't mean to make you come on here. I just didn't want to leave you left out. Like, I didn't want to leave you like, hey, why don't you invite me? Because I'm going to be on there too. So anyway, thank you for joining us here. I know you got plenty of things to work on.
No, I had literally just walked in the door when you texted me. I was coming in. I'm shimmering, which Rob knows what that looks like. Yeah. It's like I get it from the rung, and I sit down and we start the show. It's like I made it.
That's
it never feels that way though, Dean. You do a great job.
You do. You're a natural. So the other thing I would say, other than thanking Dean for making a quick appearance here on a short notice, is I think it's exciting that a company like Kicker, who kind of we look at it as kind of maybe leads the industry with car audio as far as direction and stuff, and as the way Rob and I talk about the dealer network, we call it the network, and how things work. We get frustrated sometimes as consumers with how things get locked in with dealers and all this other stuff, right? And these two have talked about it. I can't point the right way, but they have their own podcast and they talk about consumer versus dealer. Yeah. But, for me, we're in, I hate to say the year because you know how horrible this year has been, but we're in 2020. Yeah, you got it right. He's figured it out. And it's like we're still using this antiquated system of how we work, how we, release products, how we do so many things. And it's like, this is almost, in my opinion, even though, it's bad that COVID's going on and all this is happening, but this is a needed change, in my opinion, because you needed to accelerate. You needed to step into the future or into the current time with how this stuff works. And I think you're gonna reap the benefits. It's kind of like the guy, the VHS tapes. We don't want to put them in the rental stores because then that's going to kill our market. They put them in the rental stores, and it's like, dude, they just went through the roof. And it's like the same thing with this. It's like you're doing something outside of your comfort zone. But I really think that the way Apple does events and a lot of other companies do events, people expect now, especially with COVID going on, to wait, right? They don't expect to have anything right now, but the fact that they can look forward to something coming is good because we all need something to look forward to, right?
Well, I mean, I could say from the dealer point of view, this is something that I'm sure Kip is almost going to say is a broken record for them because we've been telling manufacturers for years. Once Steve Jobs stepped on stage and did that whole thing, it was like he changed the game. And he was like, we're not going to CES. We're not going to do any of this nonsense. We're going to do it when we feel we need to do it. Granted, it's got kind of structured for them. So, like, we know, like, this time of the year, you're going to get a new watch and whatever the heck it is. But we've always said, hey, if you come out with a new product, it doesn't have to be on this schedule. It's like, just develop the thing, release the thing. But they're all like, well, what if we cut a tree down in the forest and no one hears it? And that's scary because like they've invested a ton of money in research and development, and to come out with a whole brand new line and not be able to put it in a room where everyone else is going, hey, look at our stuff. Hey, look at everyone's like, oh, we're going to look at all this new stuff. Yeah. And just be like, we're going to wave this flag over here in the corner and be like, we got new stuff. And without having any influence to say, hey, look at us. We've just come out with something cool. It's tough. I mean, the news show we do every Friday, there are weeks we are just like, man, we're going to have a hard time trying to find a story to talk about this week. But then, it always seems at like the last minute, there's some new little piece of something that we can grab and just be like, this is cool, and this is what this industry is doing. And, you guys should be paying attention to this. But yeah, it's scary for them because they put a lot of money into this. And the dealer network, we don't always help them, because we're busy on our side of things, just trying to make money, keep the lights on, and do all that stuff. And sometimes the love that we have for these brands is just like, you're our bitch, do our thing, and that's it. It's really what it comes down to. Right or wrong. I mean, there's plenty of dealers out there that it's just like, dude, where's my stuff? What the heck? What are you guys doing? What is the problem? And they don't really care. Like a 500 watt amp is a 500 watt amp is a 500 watt amp. They don't care what little cool heat sink you put it in. Just sell me a 500 watt amp that has your name on it so we can get the hell out of here. That'd be a Q class, No one really got it. So it's one of those two-way streets. I know. It's one of those two-way streets where we as dealers are supposed to be helping them, and them as manufacturers are supposed to be helping up, and then you guys are just supposed to like deal with whatever the blowout is from all of it.
We just talk trash about it, like, yeah, these guys are stupid.
Oh yeah, and our trust me,
we got the best gig.
The conversations from the install bay that Fernando and I have, we're over there banging our heads in the wall sometimes, just trying to get manufacturers to do what they're doing. Like Kip was saying, when CES and SEMA decided that they weren't going to happen, we were immediately sending emails out to all our vendors saying, hey, look, we'll give you time on our channel to show your stuff, because they were all trying to figure out what to do. And we're like, hey, use us. We got an audience. We'll show you whatever, why not? Kenwood was the first in the group to take us up on that. We did the show with the new 10-inch of theirs. It's slow because they're, again, these companies like, Kip will attest to, it's like, hey, what are we going to do? 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 It's like, we've been doing this for so long, oh my God, we got to think of something new.
It's funny you say that, Dean. Last minute, there are a lot of things, especially when you work in the marketing department of any company, there's a lot of things that end up being last minute because a lot of times you're not being able to plan, you're being able to react. Correct. And so this CES SEMA canceling thing is definitely a reaction to that. But the reality is, and I'm glad you brought it up and said it the way you did, is for years, a lot of us have been, and I've been one, going, okay, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm as big as Samsung. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm as big as Apple. But if you look at the concept that they've done, Samsung does their Unpacked event, Apple does their release things. You just look at what they've done is they've unhitched their development cycle from a fixed point in time, which is a trade show. And they've decided, when we're ready, we're going to come tell you about this. Whatever this is, when we're ready, we're going to bring it to you. And what we're hoping that this event goes off well. We're hoping the event and we are doing one for CES. So I guess the cat's out of the bag. Yes, there'll be one to replace CES. And
I won't get blamed for it, so I'm okay.
It's not that I can't keep a secret. It's the people I tell. They won't keep their mouth shut.
Hey, man.
Not me.
As he does this for the second time. Wasn't me. It wasn't Rob. It was Kip.
It was me.
I signed the paper, so I say,
Yeah, you're so. Yeah. But what's cool about this is it's just like live consumer events. You know, all of those have been put on hold as well. This entire, may as well call it this year from March forward. But we're smart enough to know that this isn't the new normal. This is just the right now. And when all this passes, people are going to want to go back to concerts and venues, and they're going to go to shows and whatever and hang out and be human beings. And when it's the green light's given to do that, people are going to want to do that. And we're still going to participate in those events. We're not abandoning in-person events. But what we are saying by doing this, and what we think is going to happen, is we're going to enhance our representation to the consumer and try to be more proactive in touching more people at a dealer by doing these virtual events. And so by going forward, let's pretend that we're in the development cycle of something, and it doesn't make a CES drop dead time or a SEMA drop dead time, but it's spring. It's really kind of that, well, spring, there's really no trade show to go talk about this product. But if we can develop a show that makes sense, and we're pretty sold on this Kicker Unmasked Live concept, kind of like Samsung's Unpacked, is that, you know, once a quarter, we could come directly to the dealers, directly to the reps, directly to you guys who are the guys out here who are living and breathing 12-volt car audio, and we can show you what the newest widget or newest gadget that's added to a line or a whole new line or like that. We can bring it directly to you much faster, and we can get it to you in a way that we can communicate and share information and get feedback from you. So we're not looking at this as just a flash in a pan. We're looking at this as an enhancement to what we're going to do marketing-wise going forward.
Well, that's the concept of that I've been preaching to a lot of these manufacturers. Control your own destiny. You know, you guys have the ability to control the story that's being told and paint the picture that you want people to see.
Right.
Now you're being forced to do it. And it's like, you know, we're over here going, oh, thank God, you know, because what is the purpose of having, you know, Bill Braun do Instagram incessantly, do Facebook incessantly, build up this audience that you guys have, and then not do anything with it other than put up like retro pictures?
There you go.
Know? It's like, that's dumb. You've created, you've created this. I mean, the same thing happened with just to bring in another brand, Audio Control, because I feel we're just one big community anyways.
Sure.
You know, when they first started this year doing, Matthew Palumbo started doing their shows, and Chris came to me and he's like, you know, what do you think? And I'm like, dude, run this show as long as you can. Just keep doing it, because for one, you're going to create content. Two, you can put it all up on YouTube, make a great repository. You can divide it up. You have an editor on there that, you know, there's so much you've created. They had 44 weeks of content that they created, and it's just like, dude, like, that's a YouTube channel. Boom, drop it, and you're immediately. It's like within 6 months, you're going to have an audience that is sitting there just thumbing through this heap of data and information. And why wouldn't you? You know, it doesn't make any sense not to. You know?
So, Kip, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you know the answer, but I'll ask anyway. Typically at a SEMA show, how many visitors would you have to the Kicker booth during a SEMA show? Just an estimate. Because what I'm trying to do is compare and contrast to what your potential audience is for what this online venue offers. And I think it's many times more.
Here's the thing that, marketing, as everyone here knows, marketing is about telling people about your brand, telling people about your product. And if you can get 3 seconds of their time in their eyeballs or in their ears, that's marketing. I mean, you're touching that person. So if you look at SEMA, we probably have at the booth locations we choose at SEMA, I wouldn't exaggerate and say we have 50 to 75,000 people walk by the booth in 4 days. Now, we don't have 50 or 75,000 people walk in the booth over 4 days. We probably have, I'm going to be honest, 8 to 12,000 people that probably, come through the booth. And of those 8 to 12,000, we're probably doing hardcore business with 1,500, 2,000. Yeah. Honestly. But the thing that SEMA, and I'll admit this, I've been in this 12-volt industry forever. And I remember when CES, the North Hall, used to be completely all aftermarket 12-volt car audio, the entire North Hall at LVCC. And I remember in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, it was so large. Aftermarket car was so large, it overflowed the hall and was out in it was the gold lot. So we just call it it's a big parking lot outside. They had big white tents with heat and air hooked up to them, and it overflowed into the gold lot, into these big white tents. And what we've seen as a company, I mean, I've gone from that. I've lived what I like to call the golden years, the golden era of car audio, when it was just huge. And I've seen it go. And now at CES, I know people here who don't go to the show don't see it, but I go to CES, and now the North Hall, maybe a fourth to a fifth of it is dedicated to aftermarket 12-volt car audio. And the rest is iPod accessories, Ford, Mazda, Bell helicopter showing off their 6-person drone alive. I mean, it's completely different in there anymore. And I've been championing myself for probably the better part of 7 to 10 years. I've been saying it's time to pull the plug on CES. It's time to pull the plug on CES. And I'm not saying that trade shows have an infinite life. They may. I'm not saying trade shows have a finite life, although Comdex is a perfect example of one that was the largest trade show in the world and went from the largest to being out of business in a span of 3 years. So, you look at the HPs and the Dells and the Microsofts and all those that were big players, Apple at the Comdex side of the equation, they all pulled out because in some way during that time frame, a lot of those products simply became what I like to refer to as a white good. It was like a refrigerator or a freezer. It's just, you have one, you have them all. A printer's a printer, a scanner's a scanner. A computer, it doesn't matter what name's on it, what's the price, and how many hertz does the CPU run, and how big's the hard drive. It kind of turned into a white good market, and I think part of that's what killed Comdex. I don't think CES is going to die as a trade show. I think CES's importance to aftermarket 12-volt has certainly changed and has dwindled over the years. If you would have came to Kip 10 years ago in a time machine and said, hey, Kip, you know that South Hall down there where they've got all of the home automation stuff that's just in its infancy, and smart home controllers and the vibrating chairs and the adult toy section in the back there? You know that all that's out there? I'm going to tell you, come 2020, 2019, when you go down there, there's going to be these things called drones, and they're going to have all these nets up, and they're going to be showing these drones and all these drones accessories, and all this is going to be gone. I'd go, you're crazy, because it's what we do. It's how we always do it. And this is just what it is. So CES to me is an example of how the evolving technology, the trade show has changed, because what goods people have to come to market to tell new customers about has changed. For us as a manufacturer, we're a pretty mature market. I mean, we have reps who've been in the field for 25 to 35 years. They know the market. They know the dealers that are available. It's not like we're going to a CES and there's people coming to the kicker booth wanting to be a new kicker dealer. They already know who we are. They've probably already talked to a rep. Now, to flip the script on that, if you look at SEMA as a trade show, SEMA, to me, and a lot of people at Kicker would agree who are in positions, it's a much better trade show for us because we see new people who have never been exposed to the brand, which I'd rather go fishing in a pond full of fish than a pond that has no fish. So it's great to go fishing in a pond that's got a lot of fish. And it's also very valuable for us, especially for our OE relationships, like the GM Multi-Tailgate Pro, if you've seen that, which is the Kicker audio system that's actually built into the tailgate. And we do audio systems for OEs. So SEMA is a much more important trade show to us than CES. I think that a trade show can run its life cycle and how important it is to a brand. And I think this is where we've decided, because we've been forced to do it. As all three of you here know, we've been looking at doing more and more social, more and more video. And you guys blessedly have been involved in all that. And I think this is the final push that's going to make us be very serious about how we go to market and utilizing not just video productions of ourselves and going direct to the consumers, but I mean this sincerely, I hope the three of you understand and realize how important we feel you are to promoting products in our category.
Yes, Kip does not have a script. This is Kip right here. We've
real.
met Kip in person.
Yeah.
This is how you do. You just throw one up to Kip.
Yeah, well, that's
goes,
what Dave's job was. Dave's job was to throw Kip the softballs, and then Kip would just keep smacking him out. Smacking him out.
Smacking him.
He's good at it.
He's got it, man.
He got it every Thursday. So
if you want a symbol or something to point at me, I'll stop anytime you want.
No, it's fine, man. It's all good. Real quick before we continue, I wanted to give a shout out to a couple people that sent us some super chats. Ruben, stay safe. Thank you, Ruben, and Mark. Thank you so much. And Rob, I didn't see any other ones, but I kind of saved those at the top. Okay, and thank you guys for sending those. And yeah, and I gotta get that one off. But yeah, so my thoughts are, I think a lot in line with, I know Rob and I at least talk about this a lot about, getting up, and I already talked about it, so I don't want to repeat myself too much, but getting up to current times, the way people operate. So, Dean does 15 shows a week or whatever it is, like live streams, and he produces, I don't know how many hours of content. He doesn't sleep. He's like a robot.
I'll tell you what, I almost fell asleep on the way home today. So
he can tell you that people they like content. They like this content. They like to watch about cardio stuff. They love to ask questions. They are engaged online. They like to purchase stuff online. There's a lot of things that, that have changed the way car audio used to be versus how it is now. But, the way I see it is, this is like, I really think this is going to be the whole VHS rental thing, because I think that once Kicker sees the benefit, and all these other companies like Dean's talking about that are embracing the online culture and, getting the information out there and sharing more information, being more open, like, hey, we're a community here. This is not a closed off area. This is not my little corner that you can sometimes come into. This is my shop, and you're welcome to come in. We're open 24/7, so come join us whenever you want to. So I think that's going to enhance that feeling for the consumer to say, wow, these people are human. They understand what we want, and we're here to soak it in.
I think it's scary for them, to be honest. I think if you look at it from, like, back when we used to be able to have live people come on the show, the fear factor of getting someone to come on and talk in front of a camera. I mean, I know John Myers, you could just point a camera at him, he's just going to, but the reality of it is there has to be more. So like when I went there and I talked to all the people I went to, I had to sit there for 10 minutes and go, look, this isn't live, this is pre-recorded. You can screw up, we can start over, you can do all this other, we can take our time. When I interviewed the engineers, those guys, they live in a cave, man. They don't want to talk to you. I had to start out talking about Star Wars and Star Trek, so that I could relax them and get them into the mood. And the girl, the young lady that handles the Kipple machine, she was like super stiff, and I was like, we started just talking, and then the next thing you know, I turned on the camera, and it turned out great. But the other thing too is we know, thanks to Aaron, when you say stuff on camera, it stays out there forever. Okay, so that's the other scary thing.
That's not the 40 hertz comment.
That is the 40 hertz comment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Aaron. Got a cat. So that's scary for a manufacturer, because it's like when they say something, it is Bible and verse. It is like, they said it, it's out there. What do you do? And if you've created this huge piece of content that is an hour long and you screw one piece up, okay, if you didn't get a backup of that you can go then and delete and cut it up and remove that part and then reintroduce it, you've just wasted an hour. And there again, the other thing too is like, I watched, like, we've all, okay, maybe you guys haven't, but in the industry, Zoom meetings were a plenty for us. And I'm sure, Kip, you sat through a couple of them and you wanted to poke your eyes out with a fork.
I actually sit through one every week, because we've been doing Zoom meetings,
right,
with our staff since March.
Yeah. But the tech training ones are just like, oh God, you could only handle so many of those. But there again, I feel, and I've said this a dozen times to every manufacturer I talk to, it's like, you need a face for the company. You need somebody everyone can like, that's not a robot, that has charisma, that has character, that people will believe. For one, and that's the scary part, because a lot of times people, they don't believe what you're selling because you've talked so much that you don't have the excitement or the thrill or any of that stuff. So they just go, he's talking company crap. So it's scary. we've talked to a bunch of companies, and they're not. It's like, oh, we want to do it, but we're just.
I can see that point that you made, Dean, because with all the content we put out, we maybe get passes because I know that I'd make mistakes all the time.
You get a lot of passes, man. I don't want to hear it.
And I'm not held to the same standard as Kip probably is. So yeah, I mean that's why I have the whole persona of my friend that's sometimes on the shows, because I make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but I understand that would be a concern, especially coming from a manufacturer. If you say, and then 40 hertz is not important, anything below that. I mean, that's not what he said, but that's how some people interpreted it. So unfortunately, then it just became a joke, right?
One of the best.
Meme. Yeah, man. He got memed.
So I got one more chime in. The cat's name is Maggie. Oh, I'll tell you.
Mag is having fun back there.
And if you script it, then it just comes off as sounding like a scripted show, which there's YouTube guys that do scripted shows, and you guys both talk loose and you just say what's on your mind, and you come across as honest, and we never script anything because and you could tell when I'm reading specs, because it's like, all right, I should almost sit there and go, I'm going to read specs now so that you guys won't ask me these questions later. So here we go. This is what it has. I mean, I try to put a little character into my voice, but I'm just reading specs. It's not a big deal, but that's tough to find somebody that can do that. I mean, Kip can talk and talk and talk, and I can talk and talk and talk. But is it what we need? Is it the point we're trying to get across? And that's the scary part. So
that's for sure. You mess up so much, they'll hold it to you, and it's like, hey, I said that yesterday, man. I don't even remember what I said on that live stream.
Oh yeah.
We were joking about it before the show went live, and this is the God's honest truth. And if you tune in, I'll give you a little heads up. There's actually going to be a 30-minute show. It's just canned content that'll be running before the 5 o'clock show. So if you want to tune in early to make sure you're on the channel and it's working, we've actually got 30 minutes of program content that's going to run before 5 o'clock. So we're actually kicking it off at 4:30. It'll go live at 5. And in that 30 minutes of canned content, there's a 60-second blooper reel. And if any of you have experienced it, I got into doing this. I'll say this. I am proudly going to say I was born a nerd or a geek. And if it's electronics related or computer or wiring or doing circuits, I just always gravitated to it and I enjoyed it. So much so that I actually had an opportunity that in my junior high class, senior high class, when I was going to high school, I actually taught several weeks of the computer science lab because I knew more than the teacher did. And he actually asked me, he said, can you come up and talk about this? And him forcing me to get up in front of my peers, which were my students, and talk about something, because what you see now, I couldn't do then. But him forcing me to get out of my comfort zone and get up and talk about something, I knew I was good at it, and I knew I understood it. And the teachers constantly tell me, he says, Kip, I can't give you a higher grade than A+++. He says, you're writing code that is beyond anything we're teaching in this class. And I go, well, I've been writing code since I was 10. So I sat down at my first computer, which was an Atari 400 with a basic cartridge, and I taught myself peek, poke, you name it, I got into it. So I'm a nerd and a geek. But when I had that one teacher push me out of my comfort zone and got me in front of peer level people to talk about, I knew my stuff. I was comfortable about what I knew. I wasn't comfortable talking in front of people. And from that moment forward, it just grew and grew. And then I got into installations. That was kind of my first job. Got into the sales. And as soon as you get into sales, you got to talk. If you're going to, and I will say this, the best car audio salesman is an installer because he knows what's going to fit and what's going to work. And I actually got to the point, I would have clientele that would come in and I'd be in the back installing or running. At one point I was a shop manager and they would say, no, I want to talk to Kip because he knows what's going to fit in my car. He's not going to lie to me. And that's kind of true. As installers put in what they know at work, salesmen push what's on the shelf. And that happens a lot. Yeah. So, it's that whole thing. And so I'm comfortable talking about not only this industry, but the company I work for. I'm truly excited about what I do most days. I enjoy it. And to be able to talk about it to people, that's just cool. So I really enjoy it. And you can see that same passion. It comes across in a different personality, but you look at Dean, you look at Fernando, you look at you guys. That same passion lives and exists in you guys because you can see it. Because I take my time out and I sit down and I watch your shows, not because I'm looking for anything to get the scoop. I just want to listen to you guys talking about what you enjoy. And it shows.
I just wanted to do it so I didn't have to show people how to set their clocks anymore. I mean, really, that's why it started for me. I was like, I'm just tired of daylight savings time, bro. I mean, I got other stuff to do.
Hey,
I want to see a video of Dean doing the hard truths to the consumer. When I want to see that process, because I know I got $500, man. I want an SQ system. Yeah. And then Dean, I could just see his breath.
Yeah, Dean needs an alter ego so he can do making fun of people and not like really making fun of them. Like,
oh, he doesn't need an alter ego for that.
No,
that's true.
I got to chime in here. You had that one up that said 6-volt.
Yeah.
I actually dealt with a 19. I'm going to forget the year. I think it was a 1960 Triumph TR3A, and it was actually a car that the owner of the store got in on trade for an audio system. So this kid, he had this old Triumph car. He wanted a system for his Ford Probe. So this goes back a ways when Ford Probes first came out. And they worked out a deal where Dave took this car in on trade as part of the money to pay for this audio system. Well, that Triumph TR3A was a positive ground. So when we did a complete frame-off restoration on that vehicle because the owner was into that, and we converted that whole car from positive ground to negative ground, and when I say generator, it had a generator, took it out, moved it and changed it to an actual alternator system. So it's kind of interesting when people chime up and say things like that. Yeah, I can admit I'm old enough to live through some of that stuff.
You win.
Yeah, that's good.
You win.
Good stuff. So just to kind of quickly recap, because I noticed we've had a lot of people ask the question, because I understand that not everybody joined right at the beginning. So the purpose of our show tonight was to kind of give people heads up about the October 23rd, which is a Friday event. It's going to be 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a live event Kicker's going to hold, and they're going to go over product releases, news, information, stuff like that. And the people you see here on the screen, the squares, including Fernando, which is not here with 5-star, we're going to have kind of a round table after they go through all of the products and all of the goodies that they're going to talk about things that are coming in the future. And we're just there to kind of, hey, let's ask questions, let the community ask us questions, and we all just kind of are engaging to find out this new type of online announcement in car audio, even though other industries have been doing it for quite a while. It's exciting. I think it's really exciting. I mean, even though it's a big step for Kicker, understandably, because we're a big company, we have to take very careful steps. We don't want to trip and fall, so understandably that's the case. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about being a part of it. And I thank Kicker for thinking about me and the other ones here, because I do think we kind of have some involvement with the industry. We do have some people who enjoy watching our content, so I think this is a good fit. And we're all Kicker fans. I think it's pretty obvious. I've been one since the 80s, so
yeah, we
just ask me and I'm like, yep, I'm there.
That 100,000 watt amp that we talked about after the show last time.
I'll just be happy to talk about some of the stuff that's been on.
Dean's lips have been like glued together for how long now?
I'll just be happy to be like, oh, finally I get to talk about this. Oh my god!
When Kip asked
we're
me,
gonna be genuinely surprised.
Yeah, we will, because Kip asked me about it before, and I'm like, dude, I said, don't tell me, don't give me anything to sign.
I want to know.
Just let me know when we can go public, because otherwise,
I want to know all the secrets.
Yeah.
Well, we want to know mainly because for a couple of reasons. One, it helps us for developing the content when we do brand deals and stuff like that. We want to know what's coming so that we can figure out how the heck we're gonna get people excited about this stuff. So that was our main idea. One of the posts over here was about Fernando will be there, but he'll be on his phone. The reason why Fernando is always on his phone in the videos, he's reading the comments so that like because I'm answering the comments. I'm not, once I start answering a comment, I don't see stuff. So he's over there keeping an eye on what's coming up. So that's why you always hear him feeding me the content. So it's not like he's not paying attention. He isn't, but he's reading the next comment so that he can feed it to me.
Seems like they weren't paying attention to the live stream. Everybody knows that.
Well, there again, I wasn't reading. I don't read these things. That's why I got him. It's like I don't have my Fernando here.
It's funny. I want to chime in with what you said there, Derek. Is this first off, this production that we're doing? It's a complete in-house production. We've invested a serious bit of coin. We've bought gear, cameras, switching. If anyone here is familiar with Blackmagic, I think we now own stock in Blackmagic. And we've put in some serious gear here, and it's all produced, run, directed. It's an all Kicker production. Now, what I will say is I personally had the utmost confidence that we can pull this off, and I'm excited to see the outcome of this, because in my mind, if it's half as good as I think it's going to be great. But because of our years, if you go into the Wayback Machine and you look at Big Air Bash, which the video that we did, I sent you that stuff for the 2400.1 test, and we walked down that hallway and all those posters were up there. That was for the Big Air Bash 1 through 9. We did those events. I mean, when I say Kicker did it, we went out and took a parking lot and turned it into a on-the-spot experience. And, of course, back then it was real heavy into FMX and motocross. And, of course, everyone who's into car audio is going, why are you guys doing bikes? That's got nothing to do with car audio. And we're like, yeah, just work with us here. This is marketing. We are taking what we make and manufacture, and we're exposing it to a whole new group of people that don't know who we are. And that's what we're supposed to do when we do marketing. And that's what Big Air Bash is about. And it took about year 3. And finally at year 3, all the dealers, it was like a light bulb went off. And they went, aha, I had a kid come in the store and he's all about bikes. And he said he saw the Big Air Bash on TV and he never even heard of Kicker. And now he's looking for something for his truck or his car or whatever he might be, or even systems for their trailers that they pull around that have the bikes in them. So we do have a pretty good grasp on trying to put together a live event, only because we cut our teeth on all those Big Air Bashes. Now we're cutting our teeth on, we can do the event. It's just a different format. And we're not so foolish. As a matter of fact, I mean it in the most sincere way. We need and want guys like you on board, because you have the pipeline who talks to the hardcore 12-volt enthusiast. And this is going to be the first time. I jokingly tell you this. If you come to the event on Friday, you have got the golden ticket, because it's the first time that Willy Wonka has opened up the factory to show it to you. Not only the factory, but to show you all the new products that's coming that you normally wouldn't see until they actually hit the dealer shelves or they're on our website. So it's going to be an experience.
Nice.
Sorry, you were talking bicycles before, or bikes. So immediately my mind just switched to these systems they put on bicycle. Oh, sorry, I'll stop.
Oh, no.
That's just
bicycle.
Squirrel.
What's a bicycle?
Yeah. What's a bicycle? No, I know you're talking about motorcycles,
right.
or whatever. But I think of these sound systems on the two-wheeled.
Well, see, it's too bad you didn't have these events in the Big Bash era, because that was kind of the dark days for the enthusiast. The tribal tattoo designs, and that really wasn't my jam.
Marketing evolves, and you have to stay kind of in tune with them. You want to stay true to your roots as a company, but you want to stay in tune with what the customer or the consumer is looking for. And so we're always looking for that next big thing that we could get involved with, but we still want to stay true to our core. And honestly, I think the interaction that we've been doing with guys like you who are here in the Hollywood squares, less a few boxes, you guys are how we as a company can reach out to the guys who are hardcore enthusiasts, and we can take our praise and we can take our lumps just the same. We want to hear both sides of the coin. I mean, I've read a lot of I try to read the comments as they go by, and it's hard to read and also talk at the same time. I'll admit that. So I try, But there's a lot of great comments, and there's been a couple, and we're here to take them all. I mean, a company is just a bunch of people who have gotten together with a goal or purpose, and they're driving toward that goal and purpose. And you're going to make mistakes because a company is just people. So the 40 hertz comment, it's the point now. It's my favorite joke. I have no problem just pushing it back or playing a joke on it. I think it's hilarious, especially as I can walk about 40 feet down my office and knock on the door of the guy who said it, and I go, Aaron, it's still living. It's still here. Oh, it is? Really? That's still out there?
That was a good one. Well, you just got to own it at that point. I mean,
I think he's finally owned it.
I've told him many times. I was like, dude, you should literally walk on the stage and just repeat that. Like, right at a training.
Make some T-shirts or something.
Straight out, just only say that and then walk straight off the stage.
Well, it was like
that would be epic.
One of the commercials that's going to run during the show is about the quad box, and Jeremy Brown did that commercial. Just, you have to watch it.
I mean, I know a guy that said CCA wire is better than OFC wire, so things happen.
Nobody gets that either.
Nobody.
No, they don't understand sarcasm these days.
Well, no, it's politically not correct, so we can't do that.
This is true.
The only way people know things is if you put an expletive in there, then they'll know you're joking. Because like, oh wait a minute, I should have paid attention. He said a bad word, and I only know this from experience. I just, Yeah, I know. It's okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm excited about the event upcoming. I was scrolling through here to see if there was any questions.
Where's the event going to be? Seems to be one of the reoccurring questions. So where are they going to find it? What channels?
We're going to be broadcasting the event live through a concurrent feed to the Kicker Facebook and to the Kicker YouTube channel. So that's where we're going to be broadcasting it. And then, and I'll share it with the group. At some point, all of us boys here are going to have to get together and make sure that we can all come together through a StreamYard interface and do what we need to do, pull it together. So obviously all of us will be practicing that sometime between now and the 23rd. But our goal is, and this was advice from Derek, which when someone gives you great advice, you listen to it. We've increased our bandwidth at the factory to as fast as the squirrels will carry that data down those lines. It's as fast as it can go.
I hope so. Internet at Kicker was an issue.
It's that is the truth. Part of it is we have 189 employees, and probably 80% of those people are on a computer all day. They're doing Outlook, they're doing Word, they're doing Office 365. They're probably playing music. They're also looking at YouTube videos. They're doing stuff they probably shouldn't be doing as well. We have a 500 megabyte and a 600 megabyte pipe that come into the plant that's shared concurrently across the whole building. IT has reached out to one of the providers we deal with, and they said we can crank you up to 750. That's the most we can give you. That's all that we think the line will support. It's pretty crazy that we're a manufacturer located where we are, and we can't get fiber optics to the place yet.
No, it's not. We've all seen your place. It's not hard to believe.
Hey, you guys are holding that town together, man. But like, we need internet now. Tell the mayor that
you can't get an Uber at 5 o'clock in the morning there. Okay.
No, you can't.
No, you're lucky to get anything there, man. I mean,
but we have increased the capacity of what we can get in the building for this event. We'll do some tests with you guys to make sure it comes off as clean as we can. The cool part about it is after talking with Derek about it, is by going to StreamYard, it's actually going to take a lot of the bandwidth requirements off of us, because all it's going to be is us one stream to them. You guys will be tied into it on their end, and then it's just back out to the rest of the world. So where people can teach us something, we're obviously listening because we want to learn. And something we should probably, at least the people who are tuned in here, I want to know, the other cool thing that we're doing, besides you're going to get exposed to the new products well in advance, we are going to be doing drawings for prizes. And when I say we're doing drawings for prizes, I'm very serious about it. So there's 10 stations, and at each one of these stations, we're going to talk about a different product category or a different product. And then at the end of that station, we will be announcing, a link that you can go and enter. And we're going to have a first place prize, a second place prize, and then a group of third place prizes. So after you get to learn all the cool stuff and ask questions about that product, we're going to give away product from that station. So if we're talking about a new subwoofer at that station, we get all said and done, we're going to show you a link. You have to be tuned into the show to know what the link is. You're going to go to that link. You can enter for that prize. Obviously, you can't get the prize until we have it. And I kind of told you in the beginning, these are products that a lot of them are coming Q2 or Q3 of next year. So when you win, we'll let you know, but you got to be patient because you'll get it as soon as it's in our barn. But we are actually going to give away something of all the different stuff that's coming out. And then at the end, there's going to be a grand prize. But to enter the grand prize drawing, at each of the 10 stations, we're going to give you a code word. And you have to have all 10 code words to enter for the grand prize. So it's in your best interest to stay tuned. Even if you tune out, just leave it run in the background. You hear us say we're announcing a prize if that's what you want to do. But you collect all 10 code words, you can enter for the grand prize. And basically, it's going to be a complete system for somebody's car based on all the new products.
Oh, man, you should have led with that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool right there. We're going to have to reiterate that for sure.
So that's going to be cool that, we're actually giving away new products, with the caveat being we need people to understand that you're not going to get the prize in a week or 2 weeks, or it's going to be months until, and whenever it lands, you're going to get it in your hands. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Well, it happens the same way on The Price is Right. When you win and The Price is Right, it takes some months to get you your couch. So don't worry about it. It's the same thing.
That's
you know this
deep
from
nerd
experience?
stuff.
No, I know somebody that won something on Price is Right, and it was funny when they explained they got the couch. It was all like busted up and stuff. It took them forever to get it.
All I know is just so they don't ask me incessantly, hey, when's that new kicker stuff going to come out? Hey, when's that new kicker stuff going to come out? Hey, when's that new kicker? I don't know.
I don't know. Kip hasn't called me.
Yeah.
Send them to Bill. That's Bill's job.
Yeah, right. I don't know. You'll know when I know. As soon as it comes out, we'll be going, look what we got. You guys can get this now.
You can find out. Call now, 555-1212.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know. Chris from Audio Control knows nothing about that with some of the things they've talked about months ago, and Dean's just shaking his head. You know what I'm talking about.
We've had this hey, I don't remember what event we were at, and I was just pleading with him. I was like, please, for the love of God, could we just not talk about any new product with anybody at all ever again? And it was funny because when we were out there in December, and it was me, Matthew Palumbo, and Chris, and we were doing a live show, and at the time the D4.800 they had the prototype that took the Bluetooth dongle sitting on the table, and Chris was like, whatever we do, let's not talk about this because it just came out and we still have inventory. You can relate to that, Kip. And what does Matthew Palumbo do? He starts talking. I go, hey, wow, woo! And he's like, what? I'm like, nothing. I'm like, oh my God, dude, you guys not talk before the show? I mean, what the hell?
Someone chimed over there on the side just to reiterate, yes, the consumer event that we're talking about, the one that anyone here who's a consumer can tune into, is going to be the 23rd at 5 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, that is a Friday. So just so everybody knows, and it's a Friday evening for some people, a Friday late afternoon for others, a Friday mid-afternoon for others. And so, there was some discussion, I know, from the kicker side about, which day is better. And, I think that there's pros and cons of doing a Friday evening, but I do think that for a consumer perspective, a Friday evening is probably not a bad choice because, most people are off work. They're ready to, go home and chill and maybe grill something and sit by the computer and find out
Let's be honest, it's 2020. Ain't nobody doing anything on a Friday night anymore.
Exactly. Well, that's true. I mean, no movies, no nothing. Dude, they're going to tune into YouTube.
Our Saturday night shows numbers are through the roof. So I think we'll be okay.
So I walked into a bar. I hollered at the bartender, hey, give me a Hurricane and a Corona. He said, that'll be 2020.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, we've been our hour. I think, Derek, I want to do something as we end. We don't have any inside information. What are your hopes that's going to be announced? What's on our wish list? Dean, you can't play. You can't play, Dean.
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna play.
yeah, Dean can't play. Obviously,
not
Kip
playing.
can't play. So what?
Kip, you can
That's
play
a
if
good
you want, just
question.
ruin
I can
everything.
play the facial expression game, and you can decide if I'm being honest or misleading.
Hold on, wait. Is Bart anywhere in the room behind you? That's all I want to know.
No, there's no Bart. Just 2 cats and 2 dogs, but no Bart.
Well,
Okay, all right,
I'll
go then.
toss it out to the audience. What do you guys think? I mean, you know what I want to see because I'm an amplifier guy, so I want to see amplifiers. But what do you guys want to see as far as
I've got a wish list.
Go ahead, go
I
ahead,
wanna
Rob.
see
While we're
I
waiting for
want to see
people.
a standalone key DSP. I want to see a high power amplifier of some sort.
What do you mean by high power amplifier? Be more specific.
5,000 watts or more.
So a sub amp.
A sub amp, yes.
Okay.
No,
And
a tweeter amp.
yeah, 5,000 watt tweeter
Sorry,
for the full
That's
range.
great. I'm
Yeah,
down. Trust
bullet
me.
tweeters.
I'll take it. I'll be excited.
And
Compared to what we have now, a 5,000 watt amp would be cool.
I think Rob, this may be your next one. If you look
yes,
at the
yes, I want to see other sizes of quad box in different levels of subwoofers available, and finally some kind of SPL sub.
wow,
What about
he's
you, Derek?
That's my
he's got a
wish
long list of wishes.
list.
Remember, it was a slow year, dude.
Yeah, I know. So I'm a big fan of 5 channels. I would love to see a big 5 channel. I like 5 channels that have
Like 1,000 watts
1,000 to
for the sub,
1,500 on the sub,
So
and maybe 125.
Slow down. 1,000 to 1,500 on a sub and a 5
Yeah.
channel.
Yes,
What crack are you on, bro?
yeah.
Hey, the
Hey,
Memphis Belle.
you're asking. I didn't say it was available or it would fit.
There's a reason why those don't exist. You realize
Come
that?
on, you can make it a little bigger, Dean. You can fit it in there. You can fit it under the seat. Come on, man.
Why are you so focused on a 5 channel?
Just cut the hole bigger. Okay. If not a 5 channel,
They don't do this for a living.
if not a 5 channel, make me something where I can modularly fit several amps together. And there's been some modularity before in the past. Canton did it way back in the 80s, and nobody really kind of followed up with that. So the modular thing would be cool. Subwoofers, I really like the thought of different size quad boxes as well. I think the quad box, there's a lot of interest in that, obviously, and different sizes of those. Somebody who just doesn't want to deal with building a box, just wants to throw a sub into the back of their SUV, and there's so many SUVs being sold these days. That's the ticket. And at 5,000 watt, I'm thinking about that one, Rob. I'm not sure if I want a kicker amp that big. I don't know. I mean, I obviously want the Warhorse, but those are, who's going to use one of those anymore? That's kind of, yeah.
5,000 watt
VU
amp?
meters. That's right. Look at Kip. He knows what I want. VU meters.
I mean, I have a 5,000 watt amp that's like this big that we put on the quad box that beat the ever loving crap out of that thing. So I think we need a bigger amp personally, but
Oh yeah, and I personally want to request a quad box for Haley's ride, since Dean teased her and then ripped it right out of there.
You mean Dean didn't send it to you when he was done with it?
No.
no, trust me. Yeah, Paul
They
ended
sent
up
the black
buying that.
car to Dean's house and said, "We'll take that sub box back
Well, I
now."
was supposed to send it back, and then they were like, "Okay, so the price of how much it's going to cost to ship it back," and then so Paul bought it, and I was just like, "Whatever," it's just. I was like, "Just leave me alone." We had the pallet, we had the box. I was getting ready to ship it all back, and they're like, "Wait." Like, you guys figure it out. Let me know. And then Haley was pissed because she's like, "Can't you put it back in?" And I was like, "No, it's not mine anymore. I don't get to play with it."
It's crazy how well that quad box has been accepted and how it's selling. It actually is pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, I think we had a really good time with it, and we showed how much fun it is to, the couple videos we did with it. We dude, we got those kids, we put them there, and we're like, all right, guys, let's play some bass. And they had never heard that before. And it was like, the world we grew up in, they would have just looked at you like, it's a Saturday, whatever. These kids were like, oh my God, this is so amazing.
It's exciting. And if you don't experience things like that, it's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's
I
no
was
way
just
around
Well,
it.
we clipped out the quad box for this channel, and that to date is still the most viewed video on this channel.
It is. There's just that segment. We cut out the 10 or 12-minute segment.
Yep.
Yeah. We put that went on Haley's channel, so it does really well there.
Yeah.
We put it on there because there's no copyright on that channel. We can put anything we want. So I was like, we got all this. Go to town.
Until the date it hits. You know how that is. Once you get more views, they'll eventually scan it. But yeah, your video on that quad box is awesome.
It's good.
Yeah. It would be really cool, and I don't know what Kicker's planning, but for the video that Dean did, and of course I did a mini version of what he did, the experience of the Kicker facility, and walking through and talking with the employees and seeing what people do. To me, that is like one of the most epic videos of an experience, and me experiencing it myself. After watching his video, what's the problem?
It's not a video. I need to stop you right there and correct you. I knew that it was something completely different when I started seeing people chiming in on the feed when it first came out, and people were saying they were waiting till they got home to put it on their TV and watch the Kicker movie. I've seen that thing referenced to as being a movie more times than I can count. And I got to give props where props are due. I work there, so none of that stuff's really foreign to me. I've watched it 4 times. And every time I watch it, it's just like I come away going, that is one of the best put together movies, because that's what, if you sit down and experience it, that's what it is. Grab some popcorn and something to drink, your favorite cold beverage, because it's a movie. But I'm just going to give Dean, 10 out of 10.
It was awesome. There is no doubt about it. It's one of my favorite videos.
It's the closest thing you get to going yourself.
Yep, it really is. So I'm hoping that you guys maybe will put that on some kind of a reel that day or something if you can, and play it so people can see it and experience it. Yeah, just a thought. I'm just throwing it out there.
That's a good idea.
So a bit of behind the scenes when we're in where they're crushing the woofers, where they're we're talking with the dude that has the woofers, and we're filming in there. That is, I had 2 cameras, and I believe I have the camera you're using, Hi-Fi, and it was on the ball head, and it went smash right on the ground. It jammed the microphone right in the end of the camera. But here's the cool part. I just picked it up, and I was like, it's still recording. Put it on, screwed it down, finished the scene. The next morning we came in, and I'm like, I can't get my antenna out. I was like, oh. So then I had to, it's cost me $250 to get my camera fixed. And that was literally the second time we'd used that camera to film anything. And I was like, God damn it.
That's a bad day.
Oh, it sucked, man. I was like, oh, man. And, of course, the engineers were like, yeah, we'll take it apart. And I was like, whoa, go easy. Slow it down. And I was like, okay, cool, go for it. And then they all come back, and they have this sad look on their face like, bro, man, you destroyed that thing. I was like,
how many cameras did you take with you?
3. I mean,
just 3. How many lenses did you take with you?
All of them.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them. I mean, the thing is you never know what you're going to run into. So, we've done enough of these live events and things like that it's like, like when we do a Knowledge Fest, dude, when we do a Knowledge Fest, man, oh my God, like we show up and it's like, when we put our rig together to do just that simple Knowledge Fest thing where it's like us just talking to people, everyone is just sitting there going, like, what is all this? Just like, dude, this is what we do, bro. We got 3 XLR cables going to microphones. We got a monitor. We got a big monitor. We got all this. Like our tripod looks like a Mexican phone pole because we have all these clamps. So because we made the rig portable, and it's like we have backups on backups on backups because and it never fails. It never fails. It has never worked ever. And there's always something that breaks. Like when we were in California, we found out that apparently if you don't have T-Mobile, you don't get Wi-Fi. Your cell phone doesn't work for nothing. So we had to film the whole thing after and then put it up after the fact because we couldn't go live. And then, then it was like, oh, I turned off the microphone, or Fernando turned off his microphone. And I was like, okay, so now we have to figure out how to avoid that from happening again. So I mean, we travel with so much crap. And I'm guessing you guys got the new Blackmagic pocket cams, right? Yeah, I know. I think the U-meters would be cool.
Actually, Dean, I don't know how familiar you are with the gear that we have, but we've got some fairly expensive large body cameras. And we're using those. You met Ernie, right? You've met Ernie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think Ernie's put on his wish list. He wants to get one of those Blackmagic cameras. My credit card's the one getting hit for all these charges. All I know is I've got permission and we'll be okay.
Cameras aren't cheap. We know that.
Oh no, he walks around with one of the big Sony things, man, with a big giant Canon lens on it, and
Bill walks around. He's a bit of a camera guy himself.
Yeah, but he walks around with a little Sony camera. We're talking like professional Sony camera there, and it's
like the FXZ or whatever.
Yeah, the big sucker that you can put lenses on and all that fun stuff. Oh no, Bill and I always debate because I'm a Canon guy, he's a Sony guy, and when he got his new Sony, he was all excited. I'm like, bro, I have a 5D Mark IV, and he's like, yeah, but my Sony's better. And I was like, I don't care. I got a 300 millimeter f2.8. What do you got? Kit lens? Okay,
come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro. But you're gonna be over there because my lens is longer. I'll just put it up against your forehead. You won't be able to come near me.
Hey, Derek, do you know Tom DeWitt over in the chat side? Do you know Tom?
No, I don't.
I just want to point out because, like I said, I try to read some of the stuff that flies by. He says it's a script. This is a scam.
Yeah, I saw that too. I kind of ignore when comments like that come because
he's been saying funny stuff like that throughout the whole time.
Yeah, I mean he's just looking for attention, I think. So you got it.
I gave him his
congratulations.
10 seconds. I gave him his 10 seconds.
Yeah, you got it. But anyway, I did think of one other thing. It just hit me like a ton of bricks.
Okay.
I want a home subwoofer. Powered kicker L7 home subwoofer, please.
What do you think this is? JL Audio?
He already campaigned hard when we were down there for that.
I did.
Derek, I have been at Kicker for 25 years. Before that, I was a rep. Before that, I was in retail. So I'm gonna pick a number that's probably closest, probably 37. I've been asking for a kicker powered home subwoofer for 37 years.
Well, hey, we're doing
Tell Steve.
We're doing a live event, right?
Tell Steve.
We're changing things.
Remember?
We did. We told him at lunch that day.
Tell Steve.
Okay, we'll keep it. We'll keep that fed.
So I think I see the scary part there though is that you really don't have the tunnel to move it through. Like you don't have a way to move it on to the next guy. So like when you look at like the other company, JL, who makes that home driver, most of their sales reps only rep JL Audio, and then the rest of their business is done by Home Audio. So like, because they're really particular on how they sell product.
Kitchen cans.
So it's easy for them to go like, oh, hey, you're a Home Audio rep. You only carry one car brand, us. Do you want to sell our woofer? And they have a port to push that stuff through. Whereas most of the kicker guys aren't. They're 12 volt guys. So they would have to change. They would have to change their whole business model, and find some. Ooh, we got real dark and stuff. Now
someone said turn off the light.
Kip, mute the microphone.
If Kip dies live on camera, I don't know if the event's still happening or what.
I'm just waiting for his wife to come up behind him with like a sheet on and. So I do have a fun. I met your wife. We were all in a van together, and I go. She's like, I'm Kip's wife, and I go, I'm sorry.
That's appropriate and honest, at least.
Oh man. Yeah.
All right, good info, guys. Well, I appreciate you both, Dean and Kip, for joining us here on a short notice, really, especially Dean, because I sent him a text literally 5 minutes before we were going live saying, hey, we're going live. Come join us if you want to. Not expecting that you would, but again, I didn't want to leave you out since I knew that you were going to be part of that day.
Thank you. It's all good.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And thanks for all the stuff you do, man, because you really, the industry owes you guys a lot because of the content you put out there, the time and effort you put into this. You obviously enjoy what you do, or you would not spend as much time doing it. And I think, it just goes without saying the time and effort and all the energy that you put in to what you do is greatly appreciated across the industry. And I think you guys just do great stuff, and I appreciate it. And I'm sure a lot of other people here do as well.
Thanks. I'm going to blush.
Dean is
It
one
might
of those
just be a
guys
camera
that
light.
I could literally drop my car off with a pallet of gear and just walk away and say, call me when it's done.
Yeah, you
I-
could do
I
that like
honestly
2 or 3 months from now.
I trust what he does that much that I wouldn't even ask questions. I would just say, this is the gear I want, and I'd leave.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully it's an F-150, right?
Yeah. I've got a 2019
Yeah,
F-150.
right.
I need to bring it to you.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, you know, real quick, before I know you're getting close, wanting to close this out, Derek, but just for the people over on the side, I've watched it, and I'm not trying to make a shameless plug, but if you're wanting to stay tuned with any information on times, availability, if anything shifts, we're not looking for it to change. It's all set in stone, more or less. But if you want the latest updates, my best advice would be run over and tag yourself, follow Kicker on Instagram, follow our Facebook. If you do that, you will get fed updates, because today was basically the day we turned the faucet on, and we're letting all the information flow out about this event, especially for Consumer Day. So if you want to stay in the loop, head over to Kicker and sign up. We actually have an email blast letter you can sign up for. If you want to be in the loop, go check it out. And I don't mean it to be a shameless plug, but I'm being very sincere. If you want to stay up to tune with the latest information, that's where you're going to get it.
And of course, we'll keep you up to date too if anything should happen, because I'm sure we'll have to talk about it for every day for the next 20 some odd days or something like that. So if you claim you didn't know, you were living under a rock.
Yeah, it looks like Bill has updated it since we started, because when I went here earlier, I didn't see it. But yeah, it's right here on the homepage. So if you have any questions about the event or how to get more information here, and you'll see more information coming up, because Rob and I, and I'm sure Dean, we're going to share this information as well to remind people.
I do have a suggestion for the change that bill. It says not going to Vegas. Come see Vega. There you go. And then everyone else's name could be in small print or whatever. Just
that just felt sexy as soon as you said it.
Yeah.
oh.
Well, they need to put hi-fi small.
Yeah. And Vega.
Yeah.
But it has to be
It's-
like his something, like possessive.
Yeah,
High-five.
Vegas Day or Vegas something. I don't
Vegas
know.
Day.
We'll think about that.
something.
Well, Rob, that can be your thing. So you can just have that on your,
I'm gonna have some Kicker branded CCA wire.
Oh boy, there he goes.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Hey,
And
I know Dean has seen it. We've got a really good active demo that just kind of, in my opinion, puts that whole question to rest.
You know we almost broke that, right?
You did?
Oh God, yes. We have a
Oh,
video.
no.
We melted that thing pretty bad. Like we almost caught that thing on fire.
What did you do?
They
Push
gave-
the button and hold it for an hour?
Yeah, something like that. We held it. So we wanted to see what it would do after 5 minutes. So we did it a couple times in our video. We shot that video, God, like right after you guys made that, it made its way to Florida. Schneid got his hands on it, brought it to us. And I said, hey, can you leave it here overnight? And he goes, why? I said, because we're going to make a video. And he goes, yeah, sure, go to town. Dude, there was smoke coming out of the top of it. And we were just like, okay, all right.
So either the relay or the resistor load, you put it under some stress.
Oh, we stressed the shit out of that thing. We were pulling it apart and letting it air out, and we're like, oh God, shit.
But it's a pretty cruel demo to just
awesome.
drive that point home.
Oh yeah. We drove it home and parked it in the garage.
That's why we get
Sure.
along so well. All three of us, we like to break things.
Oh yeah, I do it on a daily. Yeah.
Something else I think would be pretty cool. I think Derek joked with me about it, but in all sincerity, obviously you guys are going to get exposed to all the new products on Dealer Day. Obviously Dean, because he is a dealer, he'll get exposed to it on Dealer Day. And we've invited Derek and Rob to come join us on Dealer Day, so they at least have a taste of what they're in for. It gives them some time to develop some questions or stuff that they want for the Consumer Day. But it's going to be a really, really good event to get input from all you guys. We're
We're looking forward to it. So exciting stuff coming in the near future.
We hope so. I think it's a pretty cool event. I think it's fantastic that we've decided as a team that we're not just taking it to the reps and not just taking it to the dealers, but we're taking it right to the consumers. And after this is done, and of course you guys will get exposed to this on dealer day, get your wheels turning, because if there's a certain piece of this new gear that you guys want to get in your hands to actually do a show on, test it. Try not. Well, I guess Dean's going to try to smoke it up no matter what you give him. So even if it's a display that it's for testing wire, he's going to try to blow it up. But
we don't intentionally try to do that. We just, hey, listen, Joe says try to break it. I have 100% confidence you're not going to be able to break it. And challenge accepted, man. Give me a hammer.
You take it literally, which is good.
Yeah.
But really, you guys need to think about, okay, which of these new products that you're going to see, what do you want to get your hands on first to actually do some deeper dives on it when you want to on your channel? So keep that in mind.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Well, cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks again to Kip and Dean for joining us here on short notice. And everybody who is watching, stay tuned for the October 23rd event with Kicker doing the live Unmasked is what we're calling it, right?
Kicker Unmasked Live.
Kicker Unmasked Live. We're going to have a live event. Rob and I and Dean and Fernando are going to be there kind of after all the presentations to go through, answer some questions, maybe ask some of our own questions, and engage with the community. Just sounds like a fun Friday night, so I'm looking forward to it. And yeah.
And if you're not busy tomorrow night, check me and Dean out. Reverse Polarity.
That's right. I'm sitting in here going, what night is this? What night is this?
Yeah.
My ass is numb. I'm like, ow, what night is this? I still haven't. Dude, you would laugh if you saw what this is right here. I got to do something because this is a mess. It's literally the MacBook Pro sitting on top of a Rockville speaker stand, sitting on 2 boxes of Legos, sitting on a TV tray. And then I'm sitting on my old photo modeling stool. So it's like got a 1/4 inch of foam on it. Yeah, it's perfect. Oh, but I have a nice light. I have a big light with a box, barn doors on them, so I can, make me look ominous. Yay me. And I put my microphone on foam tonight, so hopefully that helps. All right, go.
Good deal. Well, thanks everybody again for joining. Thanks for those who donated. And you can check this out later if you missed anything. Obviously, it'll be here on the YouTube channel, or it will be on also our podcast networks. You can get it on Google Play or Apple Podcast or Spotify, wherever you like to get your podcast. It'll be available there. But stay tuned for the next one. Until then, we're out of here.
We out of here.
I love that enthusiasm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, come on, man.
I gotta save that. I gotta say that for my channel.
Oh,
bye.
Stick with the we're out of here. Own it, man.